Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and I am here to talk all things NXT. That's right, guys. I am here to lay the SmackDan on NXT. Now, as you may have seen from the headline of this video, Karrion Kross defeated Finn Balor in the main event of the show. That's right, guys. We knew, obviously, last week that they had announced the match of Karrion Kross taking on Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. But the big question coming out of this NXT is, has Karrion Kross sent Finn Balor packing? And we have a comment already as well. Maybe Balor to main roster then, or just time off. So if we are to be, if what we're hearing is to be believed, then Finn Balor is likely to end up back on the main roster. Well, the main roster, Raw or SmackDown at some point. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility, I guess, that Balor is going to end up showing there. Is going to end up showing up there. I think the big question is probably when, not if. Could he maybe be in the Money in the Bank match? That's a possibility. Could he be one of the surprises on the first show back with fans? They're trying to obviously stack that show. We know at the moment it would seem as though Edge and Sasha Banks are both confirmed for that show. Obviously not seen either of those in action since WrestleMania, but yeah, I mean, there were some really good moments in this match, actually, as well. In the Kross and Balor match, obviously, Finn Balor flipping on to Karrion Kross from inside the ring. And that obviously gave Balor some advantage. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think for me, the big turning point in the match was when Kross essentially threw Balor, not even through the announce table, but on top of the announce table. Ultimately, though, Karrion Kross was victorious. As I've said, he locked in the cross jacket on Finn Balor to remain your NXT champion. But we are a step closer to knowing who Karrion Kross's opponent is going to be for NXT TakeOver in Your House 2021. That's right. On this show, William Regal announced that next week we are going to see a triple threat match between Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne, where the winner will go on to face Kross at In Your House. So, yeah, I mean, just quickly going back to the Raw and SmackDown thing. Got a couple more comments. I need to send someone from NXT, someone to NXT from Raw or SmackDown, and Scott in the comments as well. I think Raw, SmackDown need Balor more than he needs them. He's been rejuvenated in NXT after being lost in a shuffle before. Hopefully not again. Yeah, so for me, I think if he goes to SmackDown, it's likely that he'll go over there as a babyface and get thrown into either the Roman Reigns feud or the Intercontinental title feud. We've spoken a lot on some of the shows really about the Intercontinental title scene being quite stacked. So obviously at the moment we've got Big E, obviously Apollo being the champion. There's Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Looks like Aleister Black may have thrown himself into that mix. Wouldn't be too disheartened for them to throw Balor in there as a sixth competitor and potentially have a six-man Armageddon-style Hell in a Cell match. That would be good booking, but it's not going to happen because it's WWE and they are not going to book it well. But yeah, as well, I think he could also work well on Raw. I mean, a Sheamus versus Balor feud over the US title could actually work out pretty well as well. Two fighting Irishmen just beating the heck out of each other. That would make for some good TV. But yeah, so getting back on with the main portion of the show, really. So we opened up this week with the match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, taking on the team of Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Now, While it wasn't mentioned as such, it would seem that this is potentially a number one contenders match for the women's tag titles. Obviously, we know that Kai and Gonzalez were the first ever women's tag team champions over on NXT when they won the Dusty Cup. Then Ember and Shotzi were the team that beat them for those championships, and then they were then subsequently beaten by The Way, who are the current champions. But yeah, I think this match was actually a pretty decent match. Ember and Shotzi debuting a new finishing move, which they hit on Dakota Kai. It's pretty much like their version of the heart attack, really, but it goes the opposite way. So they go face first instead of back first. But yeah, I think most of the talk about this match is going to be for what happened after it, because Raquel Gonzalez went absolutely crazy on Shotzi. She was power bombing her into the ring post, power bombing her into the plexiglass, into the floor, everywhere you can think of. Shotzi got power bombed. And she basically ended by lifting her up and throwing her throat first onto the barricade. And all the while, Dakota was holding Ember, making Ember Moon watch everything that was going on. Yeah, that didn't look... I mean, I can see them doing something possibly where they do announce that Shotzi and Ember are the number one contenders, but then it comes out that, because of Shotzi getting injured, they now are going to pull her from the match, essentially. And then just quickly going back, Lucas is in the comments here, NXT women's division is stacked. Yeah, I think we spoke about it on, I think it was on one of our previous videos. I'm not too sure which one it was. I think it was the Backlash recap and review, when we were talking a little bit there about the NXT women's division having 25 women, whereas Raw and SmackDown combined, I think, have 23, but only 21, I think, of them are active because obviously Lacey and Becky being still off on maternity leave. So, yeah, they've definitely got a decent division there. But again, it seems a bit like they're doing the main roster stuff where they're putting the women's champion into the tag team title picture, which, you don't want to be getting into those bad habits. And, unfortunately, it seems like they may do this. So, yeah, we also had another of the announced matches, which was Bobby Fish taking on Pete Dunne. So, yeah, obviously, as I announced towards the top of the show, we got the announcement, obviously, of the number one contenders match. Now, Gargano is a bit of a strange one because he's not really been on that much of a winning streak, but Pete Dunne's been actually doing pretty well. So, obviously, Dunne winning this match via the bitter end to Bobby Fish. Yeah, and I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously, what to make of this Pete Dunne character at the moment, because obviously he's just coming in there and he's being an absolute badass. But having Oney Lorcan by his side, obviously Oney attacking Fish's bad arm after the match. It was Oney Lorcan that took him out essentially in War Games and did his triceps in there. But yeah, I mean, Pete Dunne versus Karrion Kross at TakeOver could be pretty decent, but there's other ways they could go. Maybe a heel Kross against a face Gargano would work, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what way they're going to go, really. Let us know what you guys think, actually, in the comments below. So we then had what we have been waiting for, the $1 million face-off between the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, and Cameron Grimes, baby, straight to the moon. So DiBiase and Grimes here going back and forth. It was seemingly quite respectful, really, on the part of DiBiase. He was saying to Grimes that he likes what he's doing, but they were interrupted actually by LA Knight. So yeah, just for some reason, he came out, ended up attacking Cameron Grimes and nailing him with a BFT, and that was the closing segment thing there. So, I mean, if the talk of the $1 million championship coming back is to be believed, then Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight, you've got yourself there a ready-made feud for that championship. DiBiase is saying that he kind of likes a bit of what LA Knight's doing, but the two of them feuding over a championship, it would be good, but then it's a case of you don't necessarily have to put either of them in the main title pictures at that time. So, yeah. We then had the long-awaited debut in-ring of Franky Monet. So this had been hyped up now for a number of weeks. Obviously, we'd seen her in backstage segments, that she went one-on-one with Cora Jade. And yeah, it was actually a pretty decent little match. Franky winning it with her version, really, of the Glam Slam. Beth Phoenix obviously saying, "Oh, that move looked quite familiar, actually." And yeah, I mean, so obviously we know that Franky's been kind of not necessarily going after one particular woman in the women's division. She's been kind of putting her fingers in the pie of a number of different women's competitors, really. So I don't think you could necessarily say there is a ready-made feud there for Franky Monet. I feel like she could well be one of the next challengers, rather, for Raquel Gonzalez. But it's a case of how do you get there? You don't obviously want to just to throw her in, but obviously coming off of a win, having a good start is always it's always going to put you in contention for a championship. Although you don't always have to win matches to be in contention for a championship shot, do we, Johnny Gargano? And talking of Johnny Gargano, the man who beat Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, was coming out now to do his champion's address or whatever it was. Looking really smart there with the North American Championship thrown over his shoulder. He basically came out and he was saying how he had a mountain to climb and whoever is next in line has a colossal climb to get to that championship. When he was interrupted, rather surprisingly, by Legado del Fantasma. Now, Santos Escobar was essentially saying to him that North American Championship is for representatives from America and Mexico. And being that it's Mexican, then that means it belongs to him. Obviously, I think it was Mendoza or Wild. One of them said to him, "Well, what about Canada?" And he's like, "Nah, they don't count." But yeah, he kind of got up on the apron, got in Bronson's face, looked as though they were gonna attack. They all got in the ring when who should come down to make the save but MSK. So we ended up with all of the North American and tag team champions in the ring. Obviously, we know that there are feuds going on there with the champions. I think it's next week, I believe, is the tag team championship match between Legado del Fantasma and MSK. Looks like they are going to be going one-on-one for that championship. Looks like they are going to be going head-to-head for that championship. But yeah, I mean, it ended up obviously with the champions standing tall in the ring. As I say, going to be interesting to see where they go from here in the title picture. Will they go with Santos Escobar? I've pitched this quite a lot, actually. Will they do a winner-take-all match? It's ready-made there. Bronson Reed and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma, winner takes all. So obviously Escobar will then be the North American champion, and Wild and Mendoza will be the tag team champions. So yes, I mean, it's going to be, I guess, interesting to see where they go from here with it. Are there going to be more tag teams that are going to come through? Obviously, can't forget Hit Row as well. They're looking to go after all the gold. But yeah, I guess the big takeaway here is obviously what is going to happen at the next big event, which obviously we know is NXT Takeover. So yeah, I think that's coming up in about 3 weeks or so. NXT Takeover in your house. June the 13th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That is June 13th. And yeah, so we obviously will get a step closer to that next week. We know that Tuesday, it is going to be Johnny Gargano taking on Kyle O'Reilly, taking on Pete Dunne. The winner will face Karrion Kross at TakeOver in your house. And yeah, there we go. Just to confirm, it was announced that Mendoza and Wilde will go, I was nearly said one-on-one, will go 2-on-2 with the MSK boys for the tag team championships next week. And yeah, so what do you guys think? What is going to happen? Where is Finn Balor going to end up? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget, guys, like, share, and subscribe. That is how we can keep bringing you this content. If you haven't already, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Dan_RebNoise. Follow all of us on Twitter at RN Pro Wrestling. For now, that is it. I've been Dan. I will be back on Saturday where I will lay the SmackDan on SmackDown. What is going to happen with the big dog on SmackDown? Will we find out some more matches for Hell in a Cell? You'll have to tune in to find out. But for now, I've been Dan. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you very soon.